we've had this conversation about our parents saying things, we can't afford it. And I have tried to, because for me, I feel like I want my kids to feel safe and secure.
Yes.
You're not, money isn't, we're going to have a place to live. You're going to have plenty of food to eat. You're going to have clothes on your body. You don't have to worry. So by saying we can't afford it, I think might put a little bit of insecurity in the minds of especially the younger ones. Oh my gosh, like, are we going to be okay? Like, are we poor? But reframing it as, that's not a priority. This is not a priority for us. These are our priorities. I mean, I had to have this conversation with my kids who this were just begging for a trip to Disney, begging. And we talked about it. Look, do you want these toys? Or do you want to save some money for this experience? So I think reframing it from we can't afford it to this isn't a priority.
Something too has come to my light just digging in with a recent conversation with my mom. And it's not just my family of origin, it's also her family of origin.
Yeah.
And see, now you're getting to a multi generational narrative of how her parents and even her parents' parents and their beliefs are influencing my own thoughts today. Right, wrong,
Yeah.
good or bad. Like we have to just look at this very objectively. We have to look at this very stoically. It's just data. Because a recent conversation with her that transpired, I got new data that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. And a lot of it was she had moved around when she was young and ended up moving back into East Texas. But when they moved back, they ended up living like her mom and dad. They had 4 kids, and her mom and dad ended up living with her grandmother. So my great
Mm.
grandmother. But the
Oh.
house was so small. I remember going there like it was 4 or 5. It was a tiny little house built up on blocks, cinder blocks.
Mhm.
But my mom told me that she was maybe 7 years old or so, and her sister slept on the front porch.
Wow.
They put they put a screen up on the front porch, but they slept on the front porch. And I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you go back to the previous generation before that, and then you're getting into the Great Depression.
Yep.
And that's when her parents were raised. And so it's almost like, that's we're 100 years past that period of time, more or less.
Yeah.
And those experiences of how much they're trickling down, because on one side of the spectrum, once again, when the we can't afford it, it'll act out and I go make dumb financial choices, short-term pleasure as opposed to the long-term gain.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other side, fear and scarcity. And I think
Mine. Protect.
exactly. So you start to like pull in and pull
Yep.
within instead
Yeah.
of being courageous and continuously pushing outward. People are
Yeah.
like, is this you? Yeah, these see this all transformation that leads to future growth starts by telling the truth. And
Yeah. I hold on to it.
this is what drives a lot of James Robert Lay, like behavior. But I think the point is of this conversation, for me, for you, for anyone watching, for anyone listening, it doesn't have to be that way. Like we get to write a new script. We get to, because our mind is a movie theater. We can
Yeah.
write a new script, produce a new film, direct it, and star in it anytime we want. And that's what I'm working to do myself. What about you? I mean, if you think about just continuously your financial transformation here, what's
I think
influencing your transformation?
I think a lot of it has to do with my personal growth and really recognizing what my priorities are and like what is important to me. What do I really want to focus on? And not getting caught up in just that frivolous spending. I think prior to where I am now, which is, single mom with two kids, before that, I spent money like it was not a big deal. And it was more so of that being able to showcase how well we were doing and how successful I was on the outside. And that drove a lot of my financial choices. And I can admit that 100%. But I've really shifted that a lot now. I mean, I really look, if my car is comfortable and it drives and it gets me from point A to point B, great. It's not a priority. I don't care, necessarily what it looks like on the outside anymore. I don't need a bigger house. I just want to own a home. I don't need it to be huge. I just want it to be under my name and not paying rent anymore. I want my kids to be happy. So I think the more I've gotten confident and secure in who I am and what I want in life, I don't need to use money as a shield anymore
Ah,
or as a way to show off.
mm.
Those things are just not important to me. It's now more so how can I use money to further my family, to have better experiences, to have a more it's more about like a comfortable life, and a memorable life. It doesn't need to be, all extra.
Well, I think that idea of using money as a shield, or even more deeper than that, a mask,